So you want to start a business in your home? Great idea. I mean, it's brilliant. Super smart idea to get this done. That entrepreneur side of you is super exciting, and you're going to be successful as long as you follow these steps. If you don't follow these steps, you could make a mess of yourself. I know lots of people who have tried to start a business at home and they ran into problems. They didn't realize this and this and this and this. I'm going to help you with some steps to help make sure you're nice and in order and you got yourself on a good path here in moving forward. So let's do the right thing and get education from somebody who has a lot of experience about this, and let's take some good steps so that you can be successful in doing this, because it's a super smart idea. All right, so how do you start, right? And I don't know if you've already picked what you're gonna do for your in-home business, but do some research. There's a lot of opportunities out there to have an in-home business. A lot of great ideas, lots of products, lots of services, and do your research. Not only just research the company, but find some people who work with that product or service. Or maybe you're gonna start your own product and service. But if you're gonna work with somebody else's company and working out of your home, do your homework. Find out what other people are doing and how they're doing it. Don't go into this blind. Do your homework and do the research. Research online, but also research by talking to people who are in a similar industry as the one you're choosing to get into. When you don't talk to people, you're going to probably make the same mistakes that they made along the way. So number one, do your homework, do some research. Second, already start looking at your schedule of when is going to be the work time and when is going to be the family time. A big glitch that happens to people who work at home is they mix family and work time way too much. And they can't draw a line of when it is they're working and when it is that they're not working. And what happens is the kids walk into the office whenever they want. They come and talk to mom and dad whenever they want. And at first it's kind of fun and cute that the kids can come in and talk to you whenever they want. But sooner or later, it starts to be the wrong time for them to walk in. Or you've had multiple interruptions going on, and that starts to become frustrating and discouraging, and now your kids become a problem. Or maybe it's your spouse who just walks in whenever they want. You're not going to be productive. And when you're not productive, the business isn't going to do well. And then now, the business you chose to do at home is actually the problem of the home. This right here, of you creating the schedule of when it is you're in your office and when it is that you're not in your office, or when it is you are working, when it is you're not working. And that schedule also needs to be shared with the family or shared with your spouse so that they can see what your intention is, and so that the family and your spouse can learn how to respect that work time. Because when work time is disrespected, there begins to become regret and resentment. And from them to you, and from you to them, and that creates contention. And that's not productive for an in-home business. When I hear people say, I want to work from home so I can just have a free open schedule, that's the recipe for disaster. That's going to cause resentment, regret, the conflict, and that's not going to last that long. Or there's just going to be conflict every single day. So you're going to need to get into looking into your schedule and posting it and reviewing it with the family to make sure that everybody's on board with what the schedule looks like. Next is to create the office space. Where is your office? Is this the kitchen table? Is it the couch? Is it the bedroom? Is it the extra bedroom down the hall? Is it the laundry room? Where is the office space? Now, your office space needs some rules of what can be brought into that office space, and also rules about what can be taken out of that office space. You see, one of my first offices in the house was my garage. That was my first office space, was the garage. I had a card table in the corner next to the lawnmower and the fertilizer with a little space heater to keep me warm during the winter time because it was so cold out there. But I had a stapler and a 3-hole punch, my cell phone, some files in a box, and the phone book. And I had these little office supplies that were out there. And one day, one of my office supplies was missing. My stapler's missing. And I had to go looking all over the house to try and find my stapler. Somebody came into my office, took my stapler into the kitchen to help staple their homework, and I had to go chase that thing down. So when my office is not respected with its office supplies, that can create some contention or just literally levels of frustration. So there's got to be some rules about what can leave your office and how that can leave your office, and also what can be put into your office. I remember going out to my card table and there was a bike lock left on my table, on my papers, and some gloves were tossed on my table. It's like, hold on, I know my table's in the garage, but this is my workspace. And so I got to learn how to explain to my family that this is Dad's office until I can figure out where my next office is. But in this office space, there needs to be some guidelines and some rules. And if your office is going to be at the kitchen table, you're going to need to have some file boxes to clean up at the end of your work time and not leave your papers all over the counter or leave your papers all over the kitchen table. Because that space is, that's going to be really tough to manage that kind of a space. But I've heard of people, finding some little corner in the room and putting a table and a plug-in over there and designating that place to an office. When you can create this space that has some guidelines, and that now is deemed the office space, and these guidelines are talked about with the family, there'll be less frustration, less contention, and more progress. Because when you get interrupted and you can't do your work and you can't find your stapler and your stuff gets messed with, that's going to take forever to get your business off the ground. So designate the workspace and you keep that office space clean. You can get a box with little hanging folders to put your papers in. They don't need to be spread all over the table all the time. Get a space to be able to keep everything nice and neat. I've met a lot of great people in my life, and when I hear that they're struggling, I also find out their office is messy. When I hear people who are succeeding, I hear that their office does get messy, but they have places for things to go. They really do. The more we keep our office in order and have guidelines for it, the more integrity the office has, the more respect the office has, the more the family can respect the office. And you respect the schedule of when you're working and when you're not working, the integrity of your business will go up. And that's what people are drawn to. That's really what they're drawn to. There's all kinds of services out there in the world. There's always somebody else doing what you're doing, but people are drawn to those people who have higher levels of integrity. And that comes from the respect and the order of what's going on at home. Next step is to be able to look at what kind of goals that you have. You hear the saying of, I can't wait till I can work from home because then I can do whatever I want. Well, that's not actually true. If you want to be successful, you may want to set a monthly goal, a weekly goal, and a daily goal of what you want to accomplish. Maybe it's phone calls, or a number of clients or number of sales per month. But to be able to break that down and be able to go, okay, here's my monthly sales goal, here's my monthly new contacts goal, and here's my next goal. But you literally are writing these goals out from a monthly point of view and a weekly point of view and a daily point of view. And if you're new to the whole goal setting experience, it's a great thing to get into. But please consider breaking the month down into monthly, weekly, and daily goals. And a goal is what you're going to accomplish. What are you going to finish by the end of the day? What do you want to finish by the end of the week? And what do you want to finish or accomplish by the end of the month? And so that's what you're looking for in writing down a goal, is what do you want to complete, achieve, or finish within that amount of time. So working at home, there tends to be this whole thing. I get to be in my pajamas and do whatever I want, whenever I want. That can undermine you. That can totally take away the opportunity to build a really successful business from working at home. Next is education. You're not smart enough yet. You may know, you think you know a lot, but I know when somebody can tell me that they just learned something, or they just attended a class, or they just went through a training course, or they up-leveled their education recently, that person is going to be successful. Education helps you up-level. Education opens your mind. Education helps you move forward. Education keeps you on the front edge of all things that are going on in life. So for you, if you're thinking, oh, I've got it made, I don't need to go take a class or study a course or listen to that. If you ever find yourself thinking that, you just might be slipping backwards. I know for me, I've been doing what I do for the last 15 years, and I still have education coming into my life. Listening to books through Audible, reading books, attending courses, having mentors, having coaches, having consultants. I mean, I just surround myself with education. I don't want what I have falling apart. Education keeps you wise and keeps you conscious. The last one I want to share with you is get a mentor. Somebody who is in the industry that you're getting into. Up here, you're researching, talking to people, looking to make your decision about what you're going to do for your in-home business. And I mentioned up here, find people to talk to. But a mentor is somebody that you can go to and literally discuss what you're doing with your education, your goals, your office space, your schedule, so that they can help you be able to see the glitches or the mistakes that you could make. Mentors are great because they are conscious and aware of the mistakes they've made. And another thing about mentors is they're also conscious about what steps they took that really work. That's what's cool about people who are mentors. They know what doesn't work and they know what does work. And a mentor will save you a lot of time. And there are mentors that would mentor you for no cost, and there's mentors that you can hire. And you find out which type of mentor would work out best for you. But I know for me, if I don't have somebody coaching me or giving me education or mentoring me, if that's not happening, there's a good chance I'm wandering off the success path. So find yourself a mentor. It makes a big difference in how fast you move forward and how efficient you move forward. Well, here at 3 Key Elements, we care about what you're doing and your big ideas and what you want to do in life. And that's why I created this video for you today, to be able to help save you some time. In a way, I'm being your mentor right now and saying, this works. This always works. And so to check in with this, to save yourself some time and some future conflict you don't need to face. Now subscribe here to our YouTube channel. Don't miss any of our videos because they're here for you at perfect timing. Because our content, what I'm teaching you now, is real life experiences. Also check us out at our 3 Key Elements website and take a look at our courses. Got great training courses here to support you in your direction of moving forward. Now, your life matters. The people you're gonna work with, their lives matter. So if you notice, we're all helping each other out because we care about the direction you're going and we care about your success. And that's what we do here at 3 Key Elements.